11 games to go for each club in the Italian First Division, and Juventus really have to aim for victory in every match if they're to overcome Milan, who still head them by 4 points. Milan have a difficult task today away to Parma, while Juventus need to be at their very best here against third place Napoli, though they have already beaten them in Naples by 1-0. D'Agostini, it's a great hit, it's a great goal. Luigi D'Agostini. Luigi D'Agostini, who scored that winning goal in the San Paolo Stadium, is back today for Juventus, who are missing 2 of their foreigners, the Brazilian defender Julio Cesar and the German midfield player Stefan Reuter are both suspended. Gianluca Lupi and D'Agostini are the replacements. Roberto Baggio has been back to his brilliant best, 6 goals in the last 3 games on this ground. Graziano Cesare from Genoa, the referee today. Napoli are at full strength. They bounced back well from consecutive defeats by Parma and Torino to win their last 2 games away to Verona, and last week a 5-1 thrashing of the bottom club Ascoli. In that match, Michele Padovano scored twice, but that's not enough, it seems, for him to keep his place, because today supporting Careca and Zola in the Napoli attack is the fit again Andrea Silenzi. This is a fascinating match at a fascinating stage of the season. Juventus have a near-perfect home record. They've played 11 games here in the league this season. They've won 10 of them and drawn the other one only because they conceded that last-minute own goal to Milan. But Ciro Ferrara here suggesting straight away that Napoli have come in a positive frame of mind. There have been some really splendid contests between these 2 great clubs over the last few years, and Napoli have certainly had their say in many a major match against Juventus. Here's Francini. And Carrera holding it up initially. We'll just assess Carrera's position in this Juventus defence, which has been quite drastically reshaped, because all the speculation in Turin has been that he would move in and play as the sweeper, with Julio Cesar out for an accumulation of yellow cards. Reuter has had the same problem. Gilacci did well. Casiragi's in the centre, touched off by Alessio. And Napoli set a trio of players up against Angelo Alessio. Lupi to take the throw, his second season here from Bologna. And a claim there that Schillaci went down and they've got the penalty. Ferrara can't believe it. We've had 2 minutes, a sensational start. It was nodded forward by Casiraghi. Schillaci seemed happy to fall, but Ferrara was reaching out and grabbing. Schillaci felt the contact and decided there would be plenty of profit in going down, and he was absolutely right. So it's a chance for Baggio to extend this recent run of goal scoring. His penalty technique rarely fails him. And now he takes on Giovanni Galli and scores! Juventus 1, Napoli 0. who's scarcely been involved in the game at all, has now a goal to his name. And Napoli's positive thoughts, which were reasonably apparent in the brief time before Ferrara became the villain of the piece for them, well, I'll have to be redoubled now. Concerned, I think, as to the way his team have approached the game since they went in front. Alessio. Safely back by Ferrara. Here's Crippa, who was sent off in this fixture last season, along with Giovanni Galli, the Napoli goalkeeper. That game did finish 1-0. A controversial late winner by Casiraghi, who's the barrier for Crippa here. And once more, the referee certainly allowing this match to develop along physical lines. Whether he'll come to regret that remains to be seen. Crippa, with plenty of muscular determination, got the better of Casiraghi, and with 15 minutes gone, it's a corner for Napoli, which Crippa takes himself. And Francini, and it hit Lupi, and stayed out. It knocked some of the breath out of the defender's body, but he served Juventus nobly then. Napoli starting to flex their muscles. On the subject of muscles, the problem now for Kohler, it is a difficult time for the foreigners with Juventus at the moment, with 2 of them suspended today. This is Marocchi. Unnecessary foul by Ferrara, who was just clipping away at Minachi's heels. So, the sources are reasonably stretched today. That's Carini just running through the picture. They have only Canio as an attacking player. That's required, but Minachi's okay. Baggio takes the free kick. And Galli catches it very calmly. Wasn't distracted by the movement of Casiraghi across his line of vision. Alamar. The game beginning in a most promising way. Now by D'Agostini, who's playing in midfield in the Reuter role, because Marocchi has done very well as the original fill-in for D'Agostini on the left side. Careca, it was only a sight of goal, but he needs little more than that. And the final shot didn't carry the sting that Napoli hoped. What was promising for them was the way they created the opening. Here's Corradini. De Napoli. Now Zola. Zola again. And Silenzi and Careca both hoping for a cross played perhaps a little more powerfully, a little more purposefully. Corradini. The grass here is a little on the long side, which makes waiting a pass just more testing than perhaps it might be. De Napoli. Alamao. Juventus can't get a touch at the moment. Careca kept the ball in and only presented it to his shadow, Lupi. Here's Blanc, the sweeper for Napoli, the Frenchman, signed from Montpellier. Alamao. Showing some strength there. Just came behind Careca. Alamao reading the pass well from D'Agostini and cutting it off. But Jürgen Kohler is going to have to be replaced here. And with 20 minutes gone, well, that's a great disappointment for the home side, who have now got to go with a complete team of Italians. Antonio Conte, who was signed back in the autumn from Lecce, the game and still getting pats of encouragement from Trapattoni as he took that throw. Schillaci. Well, at least he's keeping Napoli occupied in terms of defending. Baggio. Alessio, for the moment, has switched to the left. That was D'Agostini rather wasting it on his weaker foot. So Juventus totally unsettled now in the middle of their defending, with Julio Cesar and Kohler, the usual pairing, now both absent. Marocchi. So Napoli wasn't perhaps at his best in trying to halt Marocchi then. More might come of that. He's knocked Casiraghi flying before he got the ball out to Conte. Conte wasn't going to give that one up. Juventus have benefited from his tenacity to the extent of a corner, and one that caught Napoli not ready, but also the referee as well. This time Alessio with fewer alternatives. Alessio again. Here's Lupi, trying to play it through for himself and spring the trap. Solensi can't control. Gallia, now Baggio. Sloppy spell this from Napoli. Had the chances to clear. Alessio. D'Agostini. Behind him, Gallia. Baggio moving wide. Gallia again. Marocchi. Sustained spell this of Juventus pressure. Marocchi. And it is blocked by Blanc. But Napoli very below par over the last few minutes, when collectively they were caught out, and Marocchi, who might have gone for goal, didn't really fancy it on his right foot. And there is news from elsewhere. More on that perhaps in a moment, as Alessio lofts in the corner. And the free kick is given so that Napoli at last can just draw a bit of breath here. Casiraghi was penalised. Careca. Lupi, who has got a very significant job trying to keep Careca quiet. There's nothing quiet about the supporters of Juventus at the moment. Alamao. Lupi squaring up to Careca again. Couldn't stop him getting the cross in. Alamao coming in with a foot raised. And we can confirm what we all suspected, that Parma have taken the lead against Milan. Well, there's still a lot of life in both matches, but if it was to stay as it is now in both games, of course, Juventus would only be 2 points off the pace. Just perhaps the sort of encouragement that this rather depleted Juventus side need to stick to their task, which they've done, not without difficulty, as I've been stressing. And now they have another injury problem. It was Tripper who damaged Morocchi, but not to any great degree, to the relief of Juventus. Just the type of player that the club needs. Morocchi, unselfish, hard-working, rarely misses a game. Corradini for Silenzi, and out came Taccone. The outfield players weren't going to get to him, but the goalkeeper did. Just bounced on, and that was good judgment by Stefano Taccone. Down by Blanc. This is Crippa. Early cross. Careca only flicked it onto himself. Zola. And Galea wrong-footed Taccone. Prior to that, Napoli were trying to get the penalty count even. Baggio. There's a late tackle by Crippa. The officials have let the game go on. Juventus might be grateful for that. Schillaci. Penalty number 2. Franchini this time. He got one after 2 minutes of the half, and now he gets the second with 2 minutes remaining. Just inside the area. Franchini flailed away. And over the leg went Schillaci, and I'm not sure how much contact there was. The replay didn't reveal a great deal. Well, in some parts of the football world, those in the game will tell you that if you get a second penalty, the same player shouldn't take it. But those are teams that perhaps don't have a dead ball expert of the calibre of Roberto Baggio. Galli's got to get his mind now on his job. Baggio, I'm sure, is all concentration as the skirmishes continued off the ball after the decision had been made. Look where Galli's standing. The delay is extra pressure. This for 2-0, and he's done it, same side, same result. And no wonder they hail Roberto Baggio. Penalty kicks are never as easy as they seem, certainly not in these circumstances. But the aim was unerring. And although Galli plunged to his right, he couldn't reach the ball. And Napoli are two behind because of Roberto Baggio and because of Toto Schillaci, who has collected the two penalties in terms of the decision, and Baggio has stepped up to supply penalties that have been absolutely spot on. And the yellow card out for Ferrara. The referee waiting until he stopped the play, but this is going to be a test of referee Cesare's ability as well. Well, it's a long first half, but it's a most absorbing one. And all the half-time talk here of two things, of Schillaci, of Baggio, and of the events away from Turin in Parma. Well, he's led them a dance, has Toto Schillaci. And you can see why, even when he's not scoring, only 4 goals this season, why Juventus continue to pick him. Baggio, of course, is on a hat-trick. That's cleverly worked between Baggio and Alessio. Galli able to pluck the cross out of the air. Back it goes from Lupi. And finally, the half-time whistle blows. Well, back on February the 2nd, Baggio scored twice from the penalty spot in a hat-trick. And a 4-1 win over Foggia. He scored 2 for Sampdoria here in an extraordinary first half. Both penalties earned by Schillaci. And both converted with thorough confidence in a high-pressure situation by Roberto Baggio. Juventus lead by 2-0 here, and Milan are trailing at Parma. Juventus start the second half, and they are taking on a Napoli team which now includes a member of the last Juventus squad to win the championship. Massimo Mauro has come on for Napoli, wearing number 15. And one would expect and certainly hope that they know that this game is totally out of their reach. And the difficulties that Juventus have with injuries adding to the suspensions. Here's Ferrara. Blocked by Marocchi. But Juventus have so rarely faltered in their home games this season. Well, the ball got through. It was when it was played by Baggio that it mattered, and Schillaci was standing offside then. Mauro's been missing for most of the season with an injury. So he's thoughtful, a pass or two to settle this makeshift Juventus defence, which Carrera has done a very good job of organising those around him. His brief seems to be to operate on the right-hand side with Pripper on the left, with the departure of Corradini. Silenzi, now Mauro. Okay, Napoli, Alamao, Cripper still lurking on that left-hand side. The spin well anticipated there by Alamao. Mauro. It was a clever cross on the run, and Galea, the emergency defender, just got his head to it. Sacconi stretching, hoping he could prevent Galea with the head away from the goal. It's the corner. A goal for Napoli now, and Cripper came close to providing it then. And who knows what sort of nerves we might see from Juventus. Zola. That was Ferrara going in. Cripper getting there before Conte. Mauro. Oh, and it hit Franchini. It's Galea stooping forward, headed away. Baggio. It's Marocchi marauding through the middle. Brilliant pass, a great run, a fantastic goal. A classic counter-attack. Just when Napoli thought that they might have sized up Juventus to cut down the deficit, they're 3 goals adrift, and look how Baggio... Well, the pass was made possible by the Marocchi, and now Baggio responded to that. And the finish was exemplary. 3-0. Wonderful, wonderful goal. In the true Italian traditions of playing on the break. And Trapattoni is a little more comfortable. Cripper. This near side. Carreca. Just nudged as he jumped by Galea. Well, it's time Trapattoni feels to just alter the strategy again. Getting the last of his instructions, and they are going to pack the midfield even more so. This is totally tactical. Casiraghi comes off. Carini, the under-21 international, will move into the middle of the field and just try and get an extra body in there, and they'll leave Schillaci when he can to occupy Napoli at the back. Mauro. Alamao, this is too low. And Schillaci helping out in midfield who dispossessed him. He's got another chance now. Cripper. Well, Juventus really saying, we've got 3 goals, you've got none. What are you going to do about it? Alamao! They came up with an answer with a narrowing shot there. Juventus may well be prepared now to trade possession around the halfway line. Just make sure their marking is tight and compact, and that they can do with numbers what they possibly would be able to do more easily with fewer players if the likes of Kohler and Julio Cesar were out there. Baggio. It was Ferrara who was lured out. Baggio was not looking for the glory of a hat-trick. Schillaci, aware of Carini's position on the edge of the area. Schillaci was offside. go back to the 1977-78 season to find the last league double that Juventus did over Napoli. Well, they're 25 minutes away from emulating that. Crippa, who radiates commitment, still not conceding that the day is lost from the Napoli point of view. Ferrara, Silenzi. Well, Juventus having a little inquest about that. Silenzi came in strongly. He has got the height, and he hasn't really got an opponent who's at his most comfortable in defending that type of cross. And that was close. In home league games this season now, Juventus have scored 26 and conceded only 5. They are on their way to their 11th consecutive home league win. Those statistics will be good enough to catch in the end of Milan. How much the answer to that may depend on what's happening now in Parma, because with 20 minutes to go, Napoli might be about to lose another goal. With Baggio furthest forward, you feared for them for a moment. But they're looking at the moment like a side who feel that they've given it their best shot, had no luck, and might well be sunk without trace now. Schillaci. And Carini! It's a corner. They were on the verge of making it 4-0. When Laurent Blanc lost the ball here, Schillaci placed it where he didn't look for glory himself. The goalkeeper, Galli coming out, deserves credit for the save. Alessio. And without Cataraghi, there's not too much of a challenge there now in the air. Zola. Taking them all off. Now. Silenzi. The handball that it was ruled unintentional. Yet again, Napoli can only halt the flow by giving away a free kick. A push on Carini. D'Agostini takes it before everyone's ready, including the referee. It's going to be the expected change. Silenzi departs, and Padovano, born here in Turin, signed from Pisa, where he got 11 goals last season in a relegated team with an excellent ratio, and earned him his move to Napoli. Marocchi. And they wanted it back from Baggio. That brought the third goal. Didn't quite work for Juventus, but it is mattering less and less now. Hit by Crippa, and it made it something easy for Juventus. Still Napoli at a slower tempo, right forward. Carini, Lupi making a move, just trying to open things up, but that didn't need Conte to get caught in possession. Now Block. Mauro. Padovano, obviously the freshest of the Napoli players, and he made up the ground then to earn this corner. Which is taken quickly and not at all effectively by Mauro. Baggio. Marocchi setting off again. Leaving it to Baggio. Carini. Marocchi. Oh, that's a stray one. And Padovano put clear through. 3-1. Well, that's taken some of the gloss off Marocchi's afternoon. But has it come too late for Napoli? 5 minutes to go. And Juventus did get overconfident here. It was knocked back by Marocchi, and Padovano was the last player he needed to pick out. The finish was a slide rule one, and Napoli have some reward. It's a matter of stoppage time now. Gallia. Well, Baggio is caught out, and the referee comes to his rescue. Blanc just played the man before the ball. Graziano Cesare will give easily, as the referees do at this level, with the scrutiny that's bound to happen here in Italy of his two penalty decisions. And in defending the referee on the second one, I would say that at first sight most people would have blown for a penalty. Schillaci is so good at going down, but with the wisdom of technological devices, I think it showed that Francini was very unfortunate to be penalised. Good work by Conte. Now Schillaci, Alessio lurking on the left again. Schillaci wanting something for himself. And he hasn't been selfish in the game, but all forwards feel a bit cheated at the end of a match, even if their team has won, if they haven't scored themselves. And I think Schillaci deserved that moment of looking to his own needs then. And there's a foul on Careca. And we've had 2 extra minutes on this half. It's good to see that referees who will penalise some time wasting. There have been stoppages for injuries, of course, as well. But the game is very nearly over. And Trapattoni's team are close to 2 more points. They've got them. We said at the outset, Juventus have to keep on winning and hope that Milan slip. There was stories from Parma to suggest that might happen today, but the latest news is that Juventus have done their part. The way the victory came about will be analysed, with the 2 penalties in the first half awarded for fouls on Schillaci. Both penalties put away with a supreme skill by Roberto Baggio, and then a marvellous goal from Marocchi, which really made sure of the Juventus victory, only for Marocchi to soil his performance slightly by playing the ball back towards his own goal, and Padovano nipped in to make it Juventus 3, Napoli 1.
Milan had lost 2-0 at Parma last season, both the goals coming from Alessandro Melli. Well, Melli was inspired at taking on Milan again. Ozio and Brolin carved out this chance for him. And then, after 33 minutes, Ozio produced a perfect pass, and Melli tucked away his 6th goal of the season. Milan 1 down, tongue set wagging all over Italy. But they replaced Massaro with Marco Simone for the second half, a substitution which worked wonders. Simone stroked in the equaliser. He'd been in the action for just 4 minutes. At last, Milan were looking like league leaders. Simone set up Ebani to test Tapparel. For once, Marco van Basten didn't play a starring role. He is entitled to one off day at least. But Simone stayed centre stage, and when Rukolik hammered over this cross, Simone swept in his second goal. Melli still a menace at the other end, Rossi rising to stop him matching Simone's scoring exploits. 6 minutes to go now, Simone looking for Frank Rijkaard, but George Brun diverting the ball into his own net to end any Milan anxiety. Again to test their quality. Rumbling Roma, only 3 wins, 18 league. At home by Monaco. Grateful that Torino's Bresciani didn't connect cleanly here. Roma roused themselves in the second half. Giannini's splendid pass. Thomas Hessler going on. Koller did get in his shot this time. UEFA Cup trip to Copenhagen, where their number 10 here, Casagrande, scored in a 2-0 win. But it was Roma's Brazilian Aldair who paved the way for the only goal of the game. Substitute Stefano Pellegrini nipping in with 4 minutes to go to quell the rebellious mood at the club for the moment. Staying off the European theme, Genoa had distinguished themselves 2 goals up against Liverpool halfway through their UEFA Cup quarter-final. And here, Branco almost emulated his fabulous free kick, which had sent Liverpool 2 goals adrift 4 days earlier. With 18 minutes gone, Branco did play a major role in Genoa going in front. Aguilera distracting the defenders, a tap-in for Thomas Scouravi, his 10th goal in the league. Ruotolo full of running, and Genoa could have had the points in the bag before half-time. They would have been spared an awkward last half an hour if Aguilera hadn't somehow skewed the ball over an open goal. And for a while they relied on their unpredictable goalkeeper Simone Braglia, as Lazio's substitute Stropper started to run the show. Braglia came out bravely at Karl-Heinz Riedler. Another imaginative attempt from Stropper, but Braglia on the day was unbeatable. Eranio had this chance to ease Genoa's worries, but took too long. Fiori in the Lazio goal also deserves a mention, turning Scouravi's header, which had a goal-bound look to it, onto the post. Genoa 1, Lazio 0. It's been a good week for them. Atalanta with only 1 win in their last 6, Sampdoria 12 games unbeaten, but that run threatened by free kicks involving Carlo Perrone, and then their leading scorer, Brazil's Carlos Bianchesi. Gianluca Pagliuca protecting his goal well, and Sampdoria needed him again here as Claudio Cannicchia, with a pass, presented Bianchesi with another opportunity. Bianchesi was involved in most of the major incidents, Bourdin following wide from his chip, and then it was for a foul on the Brazilian that Manini was sent off. He made a crucial mistake in the 3-2 midweek defeat by Anderlecht in the European Cup. Perrone struck the bar. Sampdoria survived. Undefeated run in the league, now 13 matches. Inter's inability to round off their attack surfaced again at San Siro. Cagliari continuing their bold fight to stay in the division. Their goalkeeper Yelpo might have expected more of Lothar Matthäus. And then from a lofted ball into the centre from Matthäus, Yelpo kept Nicola Berti at bay. Berti wasted a better chance in the second half, but Cagliari tightened up after this. In fact, all the action was at the other end, where Fonseca's chip was cleared from under his own crossbar by Matthäus. But Walter Zenga didn't need any further help. Fonseca frustrated again. And then Enzo Francescoli and Bizzoli, whose follow-up seemed bound for the bottom corner. Finally, a Fonseca free kick. It could have been a Cagliari win. Inter have scored just in their last 6 games. Falling further towards the dreaded bottom four are Foggia, who became only Ascoli's third victims of the season, and yet they began with some of the splendid football which has contributed so much entertainment this season. Signori's shot stopped at the last by Picheda. Signori carved out another opening here. Alessandro Porro weakly putting the ball wide. But Foggia do let their opponents perform as well, in danger of being damaged by Dainzara. His great moment, though, was to come shortly afterwards, as goalkeeper Rosin headed the ball away from Bierhoff. Dainzara, from long distance, right on target. 1-0 to Ascoli. And into the second half, Benetti's header was blocked, driven back at Rosin by Aloisi. But Foggia was still firing blanks. Codispotti unable to force in an equaliser. It was a really open game. Ascoli on the attack now, Pedro Troglio taking the ball too close to Rosin. Then Codispotti was caught in possession, and Oliver Bierhoff catching Rosin out of position. Speculative and spectacular, the German striker's first goal in Italy. Foggia did find one goal from Porro with 10 minutes to go. From 8 games without a win, and they're falling fast. No one would have chosen Verona against Cremonese as the game of the day. That's how it panned out, a thriller between two struggling teams. Verona settled first, and Rossi ruining this miss. They'd lost their last 3 games. But that was soon forgotten when Michele Serena produced this stunning goal. Cremonese in danger of crumbling. They might have done so when Ferraroni's foul on Dragan led to a penalty. They might still have done Dragovic's apparently successful stand. But that check in the run-up meant a retake. And Michelangelo Rampula, who made headlines with his goal-scoring header, reminded us that he is a fine goalkeeper. Cremonese's luck turning. A Bali flick out of the post in off Floriancic, 1-1. In the second half, it swung Verona's way again. Another very cleanly hit shot from Serena, 2-1 to Verona. Followed by another penalty. Bonamy this time, bringing down Ramchoilis. Magrin given the job, but Rampula showed he can save them either side. He did venture outside his area again to show that his feet are as skilled as his hands, his head. But he wasn't required right upfield. Gualco nodded in Gian De Biagi's cross, 2-2. What will Rampula do next? Watch this space. Bari are also defying the odds, getting the better of Fiorentina and Gabriel Batistuta, thanks here to the agile Alberga. 1 goal was enough for Bari. Daniele Fortunato supplied it after 14 minutes, unmarked as he met a Boban free kick. Carlos Dunga almost cancelled that out straight away. In the second half, a typical David Platt effort, a whisker away from a second goal, which would have given Bari greater breathing space. Fiorentina's frustrations got the better of them finally. Batistuta sent off for protesting at being booked. Bari have now lost only 2 of their last 12. They've now gone 6 games since their last defeat. That win has lifted Bari above Verona. Good fence to 2 on 17 points with Cagliari. It was a rare possible day for the up goes Genoa, Roma. Also unchanged, the 4-point gap between Milan and Juventus. Just 2 weeks after his historic score, Michelangelo Rampula excelled at his proper job. To send away Dragan Stojkovic and Marino Magrin, penalty specialists both shaking their heads. Cremonese may be bit part players in the Italian First Division, but Rampula keeps stealing the show.